It is indeed a world filled with everyday miracles. Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to our Sunday gathering. We are so grateful you're here. If I haven't met you yet, I am Sandra Champlain, hostess with the mostest, as they say. Our topic today, our theme is miracles in ordinary moments. Pretty great. Our friend Mary Alice Coleman, who will be giving the address, picked our theme and most of the music for today. I am also joined by the wonderful Tim Southwell, and we should have Denise Taylor Dunn here with us also, but she's not. So she may be either running late or something may have happened. So we'll check in with her shortly. We want to welcome you. Einstein said there are two ways to look at life. You can look at life that nothing is a miracle or everything is a miracle. He made a gratitude practice, believe it or not, and said thank you so many times a day. Was that responsible for his success and all that he contributed to the world? I don't know, but I can tell you gratitude feels good, it's free, and it makes a difference. So today I will be doing the reading and the healing for you. And Tim will be doing our prayers today, also our medium demonstration, and hopefully with Denise being here with us as well. And he'll also be doing our words for the week. And Mary Alice will be doing our address today. So it is us. And I do believe that Denise is in the house. So that is great. Yes, it says you're Tim, but we know it is Denise. So I think Tim might have sent you the link, which is wonderful. So everyday miracles, we are grateful you're with us. We'll be together about 90 minutes or so. And if you ever want to share the Sunday gathering, the link you use to register becomes the replay link. Denise, welcome, my friend. Let me just make you co-host. And would you be so kind as to do the opening prayer, Denise?
Yes, thank you, Sandra. Okay, if you'd like to join me in the silence, in that sacred place we call prayer. In the ebb and flow of our life's journey, let us come together to celebrate and find joy. May we revel in the miracles that dance through our days, recognizing the extraordinary within the ordinary and embracing gratitude for the wonders that grace our lives. And as we navigate this intricate tapestry of existence, may our hearts remain open to the beauty of each moment. Amen.
Thank you so much, Denise. And you look beautiful in blue. All right, for the reading today, that's me. Once upon a time, in a small village nestled between rolling hills and lush greenery, there lived a young woman named Maya. Maya had a heart full of dreams and a spirit that yearned for adventure. Despite the beauty that surrounded her, Maya often found herself feeling disheartened by the mundane routines of her life. One bright morning, as Maya strolled through the village, she noticed an elderly man sitting on a bench, his eyes twinkling with an unmistakable joy. Curious, Maya approached him and asked, "Sir, what brings such radiance to your eyes on this ordinary day?" The man smiled warmly and replied, "My dear, every day is extraordinary if you look at it with the right perspective. I find miracles in the simplest of things, the laughter of children, the warmth of the sun, and the kindness of strangers. But most importantly, I carry gratitude in my heart for all that I have been blessed with." Maya pondered the man's words as she continued her stroll. She began to observe the world around her with newfound curiosity, and to her amazement, she started noticing the extraordinary in the ordinary. The whispers of the wind through the leaves, the vibrant colors of the flowers, and the comforting aroma of her mother's cooking. All these small everyday experiences began to fill her heart with wonder and appreciation. One day, as Maya was walking through the village square, she stumbled upon a group of children playing with a dog. Their laughter and carefree spirit brought a smile to her face, and she felt an overwhelming sense of gratitude for the beauty of their innocence and pure joy. In that moment, Maya realized the true power of gratitude. She understood that by embracing a grateful heart, she could find miracles in every corner of her life. As time passed, Maya's newfound perspective brought about a profound change in her life and in her. She approached each day with a sense of wonder and gratitude. And with this mindset, she began to notice the small miracles that had always been present, but had gone unnoticed. She found beauty in the sunrise, comfort in the rain, and wisdom in the words of her elders. Inspired by her experiences, Maya dedicated herself to spreading the message of gratitude and the discovery of everyday miracles. She shared her story with the villagers, and soon her perspective became contagious, touching the hearts of all of those around her. Together, they began to celebrate the simple joys of life, the blooming of flowers, the songs of the birds, the arrival of a new season, and the bonds of friendships. Maya's village transformed into a place where gratitude and appreciation thrived, and people from neighboring towns would come to learn from this newfound wisdom. Maya's journey had not only transformed her own life, but had also touched the lives of the entire community. And in the end, Maya learned that the most extraordinary miracles are often hidden in the ordinary moments. By embracing gratitude, she had unlocked the power to find beauty and wonder in the world around her. And so Maya's story became a testament to the enduring truth that in everyday things, miracles await those with open hearts and grateful souls. So that is our reading. And as I was putting together the music last night and this reading, I was thinking, everyday miracles. And then it dawned on me the miracle of just what I did last night, to be able to get any piece of music and be able to bring it forth on my computer and share it on the Sunday gathering. That's a miracle. When you think of people, when the first record players came, and all those kind of things, the first radios. And then I thought, I found the reading on the internet on my phone. And within 1 second, it transferred over to my computer. Miracle, isn't it? And I know Mary Alice will be talking about miracles in our address, but as we go into our healing, I just want us to all know that as human beings, we get used to the extraordinary, because we are living in extraordinary times, aren't we, with everything that we have at our fingertips. But the way our humanity works is we make it ordinary. So if we can just have a little appreciation and gratitude that we're not living 100 years ago, that we have indoor plumbing, say, and our computers and all those good things, and just take that moment to feel gratitude that we're living we're living a miracle right now. And with that, those that need some healing, I know there's so many people within our gathering today that could use some healing and strength. We're here for you, certainly. But if we want to think of those people, even yourself, that need a little healing, and picture yourself or others or places in the world or pets whole and well and happy, there is power. There really is power behind our energy. And I know those in the unseen world can use our energy and direct it to where it needs to go. So Mary Alice has a beautiful song picked out for our healing song. And I just ask that whether you watch the pictures on the video, listen to the music, but just take a little time to be in gratitude and send that healing. Here is our song. And then the next voice you're going to hear will be Mary Alice.
I am so happy to be here today. This is amazing, and thank you. Um, I love this topic about the everyday life that we have, and everybody's going to be different. Some people are a lot more busy than others, raising children, they're busy with their families, they're working, whatever it might be. But every day we are here and we show up, we suit up and we show up, right? And so many times we may get in our car and we drive and we go places, we do things, we walk by something perhaps, or we're on a bus and we just aren't aware of our surroundings. We're not really aware of what's going on around us. Not until one day, I believe, I think, because I'll speak for myself, I believe that our soul taps us on the shoulder and says, look up, look over there. Look over there. Look out the window. And when you go for walks, we're like walking, we're power walking, and we don't see what we're passing until something might happen. Maybe we have to tie our shoe and we look down and go, oh my gosh, I didn't know this rose bed was here. This is so beautiful. And we literally stop and smell the roses. I know I've done that personally. The important thing, I think, for us to remember is to take moments, to have a conscious awareness when in our day, to take those moments, to be aware of what we think is very ordinary and that we take for granted. You know, we just take it for granted. Not that that's necessarily a bad thing, because otherwise we would have a bazillion things on our minds to keep our, our awareness on. But to take moments out of our day to literally make ourselves look out the window. Now, maybe there's not something necessarily pretty. Maybe it's the city, but you can look at someone walking by and just send them a blessing. We can do that. Everybody can do that. Or take a moment out of your day knowing, talk about miracles, really? Knowing that we can send healing energy to somebody that we know might be hurting or in grief or maybe in the hospital. When we get too busy and our minds get frazzled, and then we kind of get irritated, we might snip at people. That is a key sign to hold it back, pull it back. Take a moment. Take a moment. Take a deep breath, even if you have to go in the other room for a minute. Being human is a miracle in itself, right? Being human. I just heard someone's story, was earlier this morning, and it was a near death, and it was pretty remarkable. This incredible, I'm not going to go into it because you might have heard or seen him. I even forget his name. It was just like a quick story that I was looking at, but what he went through. But he said something that jolted me, and I thought, he is so right. Because when he became aware, when he was on the other side for that split moment, split second, when he passed and came back, he said, I realized life is a gift. It's not a trial. It's not a test. It's a gift. And he said, the fact that we can come here and feel everything, feel what we need to feel. All our experiences help us to grow. All our feelings help us in a direction that will lead to a better life for us if we allow that. And when he said that, I got goosebumps. I thought, that's so true, because how many of us, so many times in our life, I know I am, go, oh, this life is just too much. I can't take it. It's one big test after another. And this is, and we kind of begin to get down on ourselves, down on life, down on other people, which again is a human experience. And we get to do that. But the miracle in it, though, is that we're feeling it. And that as time goes on, as we grow and as we mature, we begin to have a choice in how long we want to stay in the poor me. We all have those moments and they're expected, right? There's no judgment. I mean, sometimes it's like, gosh, why did this happen to me? When I fell last week, it was it was out of nowhere. I'm not someone who just trips and falls. And so this was something unexpected where there was a metal stake in the ground that was in the gravel that I couldn't see, and my toe got stuck in it, so I couldn't catch myself. And I fell face into a huge clump of just freshly pruned bushes. And my left hand got pierced, got penetrated with that, and then my head split open 4 inches in my forehead. And I have little bruises and stuff around me, but the shock of that, I was in shock, and the beauty of that, I think when things like that happen and we do go into shock, we don't quite have to remember the trauma, and that is a miracle in itself, I think. But as I was going through that whole process, and my daughter rushed me to the ER, and it took quite a while to get attention, but finally, CAT scans and X-rays, and when I finally got back to the room with the nurse and the doctor, I felt so grateful. I felt like I feel so grateful that I have access to this emergency room care and these professionals. And it's something, you don't realize. I mean, they're all over. How many of us have hospitals around us or urgent cares or whatever? We just kind of drive by them or whatever. And when you're actually in it, you suddenly feel like, oh my gosh, I've taken this for granted for so long. Fortunately, I haven't had to be in one really, but here I am and I'm so grateful. And yes, I'm in pain. And yes, it's driving me crazy, but I was so grateful. I was well taken care of and everything. Now, this was a week ago, Friday night. As the week went on, and I kept looking at my forehead, I'm like, how is that healing so fast? We take our bodies for granted, like we get a paper cut or we might get a bruise or whatever, and we heal. The body heals so quickly. If we're in decent health and we're taking care of ourselves, the body will heal. And we take it for granted, sometimes I do anyway. Sometimes, like I said, get a paper cut or whatever, you bump into something and you go, dang it, why did, you stub your toe. But we heal. And even pain we take for granted. We don't like it. We don't like it when we're in pain, obviously. But it's a miracle in the way our body is saying, hey, something's wrong, pay attention. And that is even emotional pain. When we're feeling it, we go, okay, something's askew. I need help. I need to talk about this. I need to get this out of my system. Or if it's a cut, I need to get this taken care of. Our bodies are miracles, and we don't even realize it. I used to go on walks. I moved to Arizona and I lived in Portland for many years, and I loved walking. And I would make myself walk different routes that I hadn't taken before because I wanted to see what was there. I got used to it. Now I'm like, oh, I got to see. What is it? What is it? What is it? This is beautiful. This is amazing. Look at that flower. Look at that tree. It didn't matter if it was rain or shine or summer or winter, I would go for walks. Like many of you do, I know. And you see nature. Nature is incredible. Nature is a miracle in itself, right? And I know we use analogies of nature in our lives. We, about how things grow, we plant a seed in the dirt and it gets nurtured and watered and it starts growing and it just does its thing. A tulip bulb doesn't grow to be a daisy, right? It has its purpose. It has its DNA. And just like us, we have our own purpose and our own DNA. We aren't meant to be anybody else. In our teen years, we're exploring, we try on different hats and, do things. But eventually, as we grow and bloom, we become who we're meant to be. And sometimes it's hard to find that if there's a lot of noise on the outside that we happen to pay attention to, or the noise on the inside. I'm not good enough. I'm not smart enough. I can't do that. I'm not tall enough. I'm not skinny enough. I'm not big enough. Whatever is the enough noise, that is the opposite of the miracles that we have in our lives. It's the opposite. When that negativity is there and it's not true, sure, we might have to develop a skill, or we might have to, you know, get out of our comfort zone to move forward and to develop. But see, we can do that. We can do that. A tree can't quite do that. We can do that. We can choose, and that's a miracle in itself. We have a choice to make our life or our minds how we need them to be in order to move forward in life. Now, I understand deeply because I've gone through it before. Many of us have, whether it was grief or depression, and it's really hard to see the beauty or the miracles around us because our feelings are so dense and tight and sad. And again, that's a human reality. That's okay for those moments. But take a step forward in those moments. Just take a step forward. Even if it's looking out the window, even if it's looking at the tree across the street or wherever you are, and just gaze at it and think of what nature is and what a miracle that is and how it feeds us. Just for a second. That's all you need, a couple seconds. Let it lift you up. Allow that beauty of that miraculous moment to just take your mind off the heaviness of the world and let it penetrate your heart, because that is a gift. It's a gift. How many of us have gone on vacation to somewhere special? And let's say Hawaii, for instance. I've had the pleasure to be there a couple times. And you're on the island and that sun starts setting and the palm trees become silhouettes and the colors are like mind-blowing. Even a simple sunset. How many sunsets and sunrises have we lived through that we just aren't aware of until we take that vacation or until we step outside our house and just look? I don't know about you, but I have a feeling this is probably true. Do you ever feel like that zippity zap inside you when you know it's like, I can't explain this, but this is hitting me in such an enormous way that I get to see this, that I get to experience that sunrise or that sunset, that I get to experience the ocean on my feet. So much we take for granted. But again, it's kind of, we have to, it's just part of life. But I want to encourage you to just take those moments and seek out something that zaps you. Because you know it's just something from another world, another aspect that hits our soul in a way that we can't explain it. You can stand and go, wow, look at that stuff. This is amazing. This is incredible. Try and use your words, but how many of you know what I'm talking about? The words don't do it justice, whatever that moment might be. Maybe you've driven by, I used to live in Colorado, drive by the mountains all the time, or you drive by, I don't know, whatever beauty is around you, but you're not really seeing it. You know it's there, but you're not really seeing it until you get in it. Make yourself get in something special. Maybe it's even pulling out your paints you haven't painted in a long time, or your journal you haven't written in a long time. There are probably latent talents within you that are like miracles that can erupt in you when you allow it to come forward. Because people need to know. People need to see. Don't you love the arts? I don't know about you. I love the arts. I don't know what this world would be like without the arts, the artists, the actors, the writers, the painters. I mean, all of that. When you walk by something and you're in a museum and you happen to see a painting, and you're like, oh my gosh, that is remarkable. How did they do that? And you just get zapped. I love those little, that's a word I use. It's like a zap. So the miracles of every day out of the ordinary are all around us. Even in a ladybug, you could just watch a little ladybug walk on a blade of grass and go, this is incredible. Or study our universe. Oh my gosh, that'll be mind blowing. I mean, it's mind blowing. I did it for a while and I had to stop because my mind was, I just was like, I can't even imagine. It's incredible. But miracles are all around us, and they're and a few weeks ago, I know Carly was speaking, and I loved it because she's just two darling kids, and any of us who are mothers, we see in the child, a toddler, maybe a little 1-year old or an 18-month-old going outside walking, and everything is like, what's that? What's that? Oh my gosh, this is amazing. They see little bugs and ants and grass and flowers that they want to sniff and pick, and seeing that through the eyes of a child like that first time, that's a miracle. That helps remind us like, oh my gosh, this is incredible. These this world is incredible. So love yourself enough. I know it's always a challenge when we want to love ourselves, and I hope that's a whole other topic, but get zapped. Allow yourself to get zapped, whatever that might be for you. Be open to it, because I think our guides and our angels and the divine really want to zap us every day and gift us with the memory and noticing that we are special, we are divine in our own right. If we just take a minute to check that out and look for the little miracles in the little things as well as the big things, because they're there. They really are. So I'm going to leave it there. Thank you so much for allowing me to speak.
Oh, thank you so much, Mary Alice. If you guys and gals want to press your raise hand button, we'll just give Mary Alice some love. Thank you so much. Mary Alice created our theme today and picked most of the music, and it's a good one. It truly is. So thank you so much, Mary Alice. As you were talking about the universe and all of that, what came to my mind first is that we are star stuff. However, this earth got created with the basic elements of rock and water and whatever, vegetation and all that, everything that we see in front of us somehow came from those basic elements. To me, that's a miracle. That's a miracle. And I know for human beings, it's so easy to believe we need to see something to believe it. But meanwhile, we don't. How many of us are connected wirelessly to the internet? How the heck does that happen? How can we get information from the web, the cloud, whatever you wish to call it, in a matter of seconds? And then we think that it's impossible for a mind to connect with the mind of someone who is no longer walking this earth. Funny how we do that. And there's miracles all around us. Energy cannot be destroyed. My book title is We Don't Die, and maybe our bodies go, but we do not. So as we move into our demonstration of mediumship today, we have the wonderful Denise Taylor Dunn and Tim Southwell. That will be our mediums for today. They have volunteered their time to be with us, as we all do. But I think to be in a medium's role, it is that much more that you're living on the edge, because with their training, they have to trust that the feelings and the thoughts and images and all those things that come to mind are coming from the spirit world. And so it's risky business being a medium. It truly is, to verbalize that stuff that's coming to you. But there's a bigger promise and there's a bigger intention. And we know that many of the folks that come to our Sunday gathering, if not all, have experienced some sort of a loss of a loved one or a friend or someone close. There's nothing worse, I think, than grief. And just to be able to deliver a message, whether you get the message or someone else does in our gathering today, you get that little breath, that little bit of breather that you can take to know that our loved ones are still around, and that in the bigger picture, we will see them again and that our life goes on as well. So you may be new to our Sunday gathering today, or you may have been here. Well, this could be your 199th Sunday gathering because that's where we are today. Wherever you fall in that, we want you to really listen in close as our mediums demonstrate today. Just as you see Mary Alice and Tim, Denise, and myself, we are talking on behalf of, probably close to 150 people in our gathering today. We'll have a handful of representatives from the spirit world saying, hey guys, we're still here, we're still alive, we're still with you. So these few loved ones that step forward, they're talking on behalf of all of our loved ones. Packed in the space around you, there they are. Their love never dies. Certainly they are living their life and they're not with you 24/7, but they easily have one foot in our world and one foot in theirs, continuing their dreams. They're healthy, they're well, they're great. The ego stays here on earth, thank goodness, but they're great. And so today, during our medium demonstration, it's just nice to hear from them. It's nice to know how close they really are and that their love is real. So when you see Denise work and then Tim, that we'll have a person from the spirit world connect with them in whichever way they want to work with them. Sometimes there's pictures and sometimes sounds and feelings, and could be a smell, a taste, who knows, that they'll give them. And they will give a few initial bits of information about the spirit person who has contacted them. We want you to really listen in close. Is this your person? And it's your person if they no longer walk this earth, okay? So all the spirit people that come through no longer walk this earth, but it could be a friend, could be a family member, could be somebody you worked with, could be somebody distant. Sometimes they work in weird and wonderful ways. So if you can understand all of the information that the medium has shared about this person that no longer walks the earth, if you can understand that, and then we want you to press your raise hand button. Now, I know I just asked you to press your raise hand button, but if you want to do it again, go for it. And I just learned, thanks to Rosemary, that you can press Control Y or Command Y, depending on what kind of device you're on, to press your raise hand button. I thought that was pretty nifty. And if you can't see raise hand button, and there's 3 little dots on your iPad or tablet or phone, you press those 3 little dots and that raise hand button will appear. So it's pretty nifty. Thanks, Rosemary, for that. Why we ask you to press your raise hand button is sometimes there are 2 or more people that can understand all the information. So the medium will work to identify and maybe give a few more bits of information. So we get down to 1 person with their hand raised. If you find yourself as that 1 person with your hand raised, I will press a button on my side. You'll get a little pop-up on your screen that says, host would like you to unmute. Now you don't see that unmute button just yet because I have to press my magic button over here. And then all we need is your voice. If you can understand the information that they're giving you, just yes. If you can't, say no. And if you don't understand it, you can say, I don't know. No simply means a new opportunity. So please don't feel like you have to say yes. Why we only want those 3 responses is because we want everybody to know that our mediums are working with the spirit world. Far too often on this globe right now, there's a lot of people sitting for medium readings and they give so much information themselves and they leave the reading not knowing if their medium really brought through the loved one or if they volunteered the information. So if you could just do us the favor, just say yes, no, or I don't know. Pretty much simple as that. I think I covered everything. If not, we'll get to it in the next part. We always like to play a piece of feel-good music as we go into our medium demonstration. And Mary Alice has picked The Bare Necessities from the Jungle Book, which is just a reminder that we can keep it simple in our miracles and look for miracles in the most simplest ways. So here's our song, and then we will be back with Denise Taylor Dunn. Here we go. That's such a great song. Just before we get to Denise, a few of you have said your raise hand button is not working. There might be an update going on with Zoom. If you can understand all the information, just put a little note in the chat box that you understand, okay? So with that, I'm going to turn it over to Denise. Welcome, Denise.
Thank you, Sandra, and thank you for the invitation to be with you this evening. So good evening, good afternoon, good morning, wherever you are in the world. It's a pleasure to be here, working with the spirit world and bringing your loved ones here so that we can relive those memories and feel their love close. So as I take my mind to the spirit world, I'm very much aware of a man. Now I do feel the relationship with his brother, but I'm also aware he had a really interesting job. Now this feels to me like a stunt man. I know that's something different. Not everybody out there does that for a living, but I really do feel he had this occupation. So that's a little bit different. So I'm going to throw that out, Sandra.
All
Anybody
right.
out there know brother in the spirit world?
Brother in the
Yeah.
spirit world would have worked as a stunt man. Very interesting. So if you can understand that information, go ahead and press your raise hand button, please. And no hands up just yet, Denise.
Okay. Let me get to know his personality, and maybe that will help in some way. Okay, so as you can imagine, being a stuntman, you need to be brave. And I do feel that with this gentleman. I feel an enormous amount of um, personality with him as well. I know that uh, he's a real I want to say inventor as well. I feel that he took the risks. He would invent also. I want to let me get this right. This is feels a little bit complicated, but I feel that the stunts that he performed, he would have had an input into the making of them. His personality is very, very outgoing, very well known as well, I would have said. But he's also quite a brash character, rough and ready, is what it feels like to me. Does that make any sense to anyone?
Thank you, Denise. Is anybody, there's souls pulling at them that this might be who it is? And you feel like it's definitely brother, or could it be not
Okay,
brother?
so if nobody can take that, Sandra, then I'm going to take the relationship away. So we have a gentleman in the spirit world. I know he had a really interesting job. It feels like stunt man. But I'm also feeling he would have had input into how the stunts were performed as well. He would have invented the stunts as well. Very
Thank you.
outgoing man, big, big personality.
Thank you, Denise. Who understands this? I know the spirit world knows just who's at our Sunday gathering today. You might need to think back or think a little out of the box. No hands are going up, Denise.
Okay, wow. Okay. Oh, right. Okay. Well, I'm just want to get to know him a little bit more. I do feel that this man doesn't stand any nonsense, and he would just say it how it is. He really had no filter in life when he was communicating with people. Sometimes could get a little bit irritated and angry, and he wasn't afraid of showing his feelings in words and anger.
Thank you. Does this resonate with anyone here? I know I've asked this before, but no hands are going up. Well, I say that. Cachette has her hand raised. Let's bring in Cachette. Hi,
Can,
Cachette.
hi, can Denise just go over all the information one more time, please?
Okay, yes, I can. Um, I'm feeling I have a gentleman. I feel his occupation was a stunt man. I feel that he took a lot of risks. Obviously, if you're doing that as an occupation, then you would. I feel he was a larger than life character, a little bit brash, not frightened of expressing his feelings in words, and could get angry sometimes or irritated, and he would show that without any problem. Do you understand any of that, Kashette?
I can take everything except for stuntman, but
Okay,
they were in the entertainment industry, but was not a stuntman.
okay. Would you understand this, Kashette, if I said that he would have taken risks and done some things that would have put his life at risk, but within his personal life rather than, because I don't want to dismiss that completely. I can't take that away, but I may be expressing it wrongly. I may be understanding it not quite correctly. But would you understand that he would have taken lots of risks and done some silly things in life that could have caused him injury?
Yes.
Yeah, okay, thank you. Forgive me for getting that slightly wrong. I do also feel with this man. Can I just ask, Kashette, do you understand the relationship with him as well? Because I did initially say brother. Is that still wrong?
That it is not brother.
Okay, so we're keeping that to one side and taking that away. That's the only thing I can take away. Okay. Well, what I'm feeling, I do feel quite nervous with this man now. And I'm also aware that in company with him, some people would have felt a little bit nervous about him.
Yes.
Yeah. And he had this kind of personality and stature that could be a little bit imposing at times, and it could put people off.
Yes.
Yes. And I also want to say, Kashette, that this anger really keeps coming up with me. I really feel this because I'm feeling that he expressed his anger on a regular basis. And sometimes that would escalate into a physical type of anger. This making sense?
Yes.
Okay, thank you. But thank you. I know that I get a sense of him not being able to control that. And I'm also feeling that after the event, there was always the sorry and there was always regrets.
I'm gonna say no.
Okay. Okay. But I know that this anger that he displayed, I feel was only targeted in that respect, how I've explained it, very outwardly and physical. I'm feeling that was only displayed to one person, or certainly particular people that were really close to him.
If you're talking about physically, I'm gonna say I'm trying to be a good sitter. um, if this was a regular thing, then it was not with people close to him.
Okay, don't give me any more, Kashette. But
But
I know that he did. He was physically abusive to a person close to him.
there is an incident that I'm aware of.
Okay. And I know that he had also problems with anger management, and it's almost like he was out of control at times, that he couldn't control his behavior.
Yes.
Okay. Now, people around him, Cachette, especially family members, were very, very aware of this. And I get the sense that people went to great lengths to avoid these kind of situations with him.
Yes.
And as I said, I think I might have said earlier that there was this hesitancy and fear with close members with him because of this behavior.
I don't know.
Okay. I also feel, Cachette, that this gentleman passed to the spirit world. I'm feeling also that this was cancer that took him to the spirit world. Would you have known that, or not aware
I
of that?
I do not think it was cancer. So
Okay,
I don't know if someone else wants to check in, but
okay, that's okay.
We do have another lady with her hand raised,
I was
Denise.
just going to say, Sandra, can I just check
Yeah.
if there was anybody else that could take?
All right. Karen, you have your hand raised. Karen E. Could be by accident, but just in case it's not, if you could press your
Hello,
unmute
Karen.
button. I have a feeling it might have been by accident. She is not pressing her unmute button.
Okay. Okay, then I'm gonna stay with Cachette. So with this gentleman, I do feel it almost feels like he's not very happy that I'm verbalizing what I'm feeling about him. I do feel this is something he would not have liked to have people talk about within the physical world when he was here.
correct.
And it's almost like it's the side of life that he wanted to keep covered at times.
Yes.
And it's almost like he had this split personality. This is the way he was with people he knew very well. Close members of the family would have known about this, but he was a different kind of person in a social setting, almost like two different people.
Yes.
Okay. But what I am aware of, Cachette, with him is I'm feeling that that's what's coming through to me now is feelings of regret and a little bit of recognizing the behavior as being wrong and being I want to say a little bit cruel. And these are not my words, these are what I'm feeling as I'm linking with him. But I'm feeling that he wants me to express the regret and wants me to express the feelings of recognizing the cruelness of the behavior. And I feel that's his purpose, that he came here today to express. Would you, does that make any sense, Cachette, to you?
Yes.
Okay. So I'm going to leave that there with you. He's not the easiest of people to communicate with, and but I want to say a man a few words also. That's what I'm getting, and I'm aware of. Not very good with communication or expressing what he really feels, because I feel what he wanted to express in the physical life he couldn't.
Correct.
And that's why the behavior was the way he was expressing himself was in his behavior. But I am feeling now that he wants to try and express it by impressing upon me to say these words, that he's feeling those aspects of his personality now, and recognizing and regretting. So thank you, Cachette, for allowing me to bring that gentleman through. Thank you for speaking up.
Yes, no, absolutely. Thank you so much for that. It was, do you want like a 5-second feedback or no?
You quickly, yes, thank you.
It was an ex-boyfriend.
Mm.
And
Okay.
actually you reminded me there was an altercation between him and myself one time.
Okay.
So I appreciate that he is coming forward and apologizing for his behavior. So
Okay. Thank you so much, Cachette. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Cachette. And I forgot to mention to everyone, even if you don't get the reading here today, please pull these messages towards you, because there may be someone in the spirit world that would like to apologize. They are here, they love you, and this love is real. All right, Denise, back to you.
Okay. Thank you, Sandra. Okay, so as my attention goes back to the spirit world, I really do feel I've got Father here with me now. And I know that Father was a very educated man. I know that he went to university. And I also feel that he was an avid reader. Even though he was educated, and of course, you've got to read when you're in university. I know that. But I'm feeling even after university, when he was in his, whatever occupation, maybe that'll come through. Whatever occupation he had, I'm feeling when there wasn't even a need to carry on reading, he did, because he loved reading. So I'm going to put that out there, Sandra, please. Anybody recognize this gentleman?
Thank you, Denise. If you recognize this gentleman, go ahead and press your raise hand button. All right, we have 2 ladies, 3 ladies, 4 ladies with their hands raised, 5. The numbers are going up. Okay.
Okay, let me give you some more information, and maybe we can whittle down the numbers a little bit. So this is Dad, I did say, in the spirit world, went to university, avid reader, very well educated. But I want to say, towards the end of his life, he did become somewhat of a recluse.
Okay, ladies, if you cannot understand Dad becoming a recluse towards the end of his life, lower your hand is what I'm trying to say. All right, we still have 3 ladies with their hands raised.
Okay, let's carry on then. Okay, I am aware also with this gentleman that I know he would have travelled with his occupation. So he would have visited other countries with his occupation. And I also feel that his occupation was still to do with education.
Thank you very much. Oh, we have lost all hands. We
Oh,
were
wow.
down to 2 when you said traveled. Okay, we got a hand
Okay.
back up. Let's bring in Christine. Christine, if you could press your unmute button. Hi,
Hello.
Christine. Hello. We can hear you.
Hi,
Great.
Christine.
Hi.
So do you understand all of that information?
I understand university, read a lot, recluse at the end, travelled, unsure about work to do with education.
Okay. Okay. So if I just let me get to know him. Because I'm feeling with your dad that he was a very, very sociable man. He had the gift of communication, I feel, easy to talk to.
Yes.
And I also feel with him that he was, if he had the opportunity of sharing his knowledge with someone, he'd take every opportunity to tell you what he understood of whatever subject was in the conversation.
Yes.
And sometimes, Christine, I do feel that he could be a little bit boastful about his knowledge and what he knew.
Yes.
But I am also aware with him as I get to know him here that he was a very, very kind man and a very generous person.
Yes.
Okay. Would you understand, Christine, with this, with your dad, that he loved the outdoors, and in particular, I'm feeling he liked to cycle.
Yes.
Yes,
He got, he cycled.
yes. But I'm feeling as I'm feeling into that, it's making me aware of the cycling, but I'm feeling that that was quite a big part of his life. I'm feeling that this is not just the occasional out on the bike. This feels like he would have gone for miles and miles on a bike.
I don't know.
Okay. Would you understand, Christine, if he followed cycle racing?
No, no, he
Okay.
didn't.
Okay. He's making me feel that this was quite important to him, an hobby that he really did enjoy. Okay. But his personality is very, he's very good with people. He had interesting stories to tell and really did enjoy those stories.
Yes.
He liked to be, Christine, I would say, the center of attention at times.
Yes.
Yes. And he liked nothing better to be on stage and talking to lots of people. So would you understand, your dad would have given lectures of some kind?
In some contexts, yes.
Yes, because I'm aware that he would have liked to have stood in front of many, many people and, given his knowledge of a particular subject. He was a very knowledgeable man. I'm also feeling that he was a knowledgeable man about lots of different subjects, not just specializing in one. He really could talk at length of a number of things.
Yes.
But what I feel about today, Christine, is that I'm feeling that although I know I've spoke a lot about his communication, about how he came across to people and his knowledge of life and how he liked to share those ideas. But I'm feeling towards the end of his life, in particular, just before he passed to the spirit world, Christine, I'm feeling that there was not an opportunity for you to speak with him.
Yes.
Yes. And I know that's the reason he is here today, because I'm feeling you were there,
Yes.
but you weren't able to communicate. Well, what I want to say is he knew you were there and knew what was said, because I'm feeling your words were spoken to him. Christine, do you understand?
Yes, I just wanted to know if you meant at the time of death or around the time of death before.
Just before the time
Yeah.
of death.
Yeah.
Yes, and I'm feeling that you weren't able to have those words
Yes.
just before he passed to the spirit world. But I just want to bring that message of knowledge that he understood everything that was said, even though that communication wasn't able to take place. And I want to say thank you also, because he's really impressing upon me to say thank you, and to you in particular. So that's important. I need to express the thank you for what you did.
Thank you.
Thank you, Christine, for allowing me to do that today.
Thank you, Christine. And Denise, thank you so much for being our medium today. We're going to move over to Tim, and then we'll give you both a proper thank you at the end. But thank you so much. Welcome back, Tim Southwell.
Thank you, Sandra, and thank you again for inviting us here as well. It's always a pleasure and to work with you and to see even behind the scenes the magic that you do. It's something that, you know, I think as a watcher, we take that for granted, and it's part of the miracles that we're sort of talking about as well. And Mary Alice, always inspiring to listen to you, and there's kind of inspiration in the inspiration, because in your story about how you know bounce back sort of, and what you did there was definitely inspiring as well. And Denise, thank you for starting us off. It's always a pleasure to listen to you and to hear your contacts. That's inspiring as well. So thank you, everyone, and it's a pleasure to be back again. And as I'm connecting with the spirit world, I feel I have a grandmother here, and Grandma needed to spend a good portion of her latter days in I'm feeling it in your parents' home. So she had a bedroom that was assigned to her, and that would be your grandmother, but in your parents' home, she was being looked after. She was being cared for. She was somewhat independent, but she was still strong enough to look after most of the things herself. And I feel you'd recognize this, and that room she stayed in was just one more bit of information. That room she stayed in was looking for the right word here, ornate in some antiques. I guess I'll put it that way. So there are antiques in that room that Grandma got to stay in your parents' home.
Thank you very much, Tim. All right, friends, who can understand that information? Go ahead and press your raise hand button. All right, Stacy, you have your hand raised. If you could unmute yourself. Hi, Stacy.
Hello.
Hi.
Hi, Stacy. How are you doing?
Very good, thank you.
Great. So you'd recognize all this information?
I do.
Okay, great. And that bedroom, it feels like it was on a second floor, though.
It felt like a second floor was not a second floor.
Okay, so so that's kind of a yes and no. So I'll
Yes.
I'll sort of work with that a bit too, because what Grandma is letting me know is that it did take a bit of effort to get into the room, but she was still capable of doing that.
No.
No, okay. We'll try one more thing, because I want to look at the way the room is decorated. The way that Grandma would have liked it was with some of the antiques. Those were your parents' antiques, though, not Grandma's.
Correct.
Okay. However, I do feel that your parents did provide her the comforts. There was a quilt on the bed, things to make her feel at home.
Yes.
Yes, okay. Now with Grandma, I do feel that Grandma was one who liked to maintain her independence.
Very much so, yes.
So it was a little difficult for her to, it was a nice gesture, but it was a little difficult for her to take that gesture.
Yes.
Um, and it's a very polite lady. She feels as if she was the perfect guest. So she would have
Yeah.
minded herself. She would have been. I can't imagine Grandma being kind of wild or anything at all. Grandma would have been very nice, very, very thoughtful, and very respectful of the fact that she was being looked after.
Yes.
Um, and actually, I feel too there with Grandma, she didn't have a lot of belongings that were hers with her.
That's true.
And I feel that there's really Grandma liked to read the Bible.
Yes, she did.
So the Bible would have been beside her at the bed for her, especially at nighttime.
That's true. Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
And I want to also go back to respectful too. She respected your parents in a way, privacy. So there were times that she would go up to the room to be by herself, but I feel that's more like giving your parents space.
Yes.
Um, and as well as being independent, Grandma was one that could occupy her time. She wasn't one that was needy.
Yes.
Yeah. And
Mm.
as I get into that too, she didn't need things, but I feel Grandma was full of hugs and she loved her grandkids.
Yes, very much so.
And it was almost like hug at first sight is what I'm getting from Grandma.
Yes.
You could hardly walk into the room before she was almost, on audio giving you a good old bear hug almost. Um, she was quite caring, and I feel that there was a time for her in which, in that independence, she would, trying to get this clear, because I know she would have had little gifts, and actually, I feel like in her purse, she would have candy that she would often give out a grandchild.
Yes.
Yeah, and that when she was on her own more, there's that independence. She was able to part of her personality was to really know her grandkids, what was going on in their lives,
Yes.
and to individualize each grandchild as to their likes, as to what was going on with them.
Oh, yeah.
And and I feel that awareness she kept all the way up to the end.
hmm
And that brightness as well, not just awareness of the kids, but also she was very sharp up until the end.
Yes, she was.
Um, I'm getting the feeling from Grandma though that once she had to stay with your parents, though she wasn't able to go out and get the little knickknacks and little gifts that she would like to give other people.
Yeah, that's true.
So instead, I feel that and this would be something that's noticeable, in fact, that with the knickknacks depleted, she became a little bit more verbal and more expressive of her love.
Yeah. Yes, that's true.
And I feel that there's a little bit change in how she demonstrated that too. She went from just a hugger, always a hugger, I should say, to hugs, and then you would notice kisses would have increased.
Yeah. Yeah, that's good. Yeah, it's true.
And because I feel that she was
Wow.
such a sweet lady, and just the she's giving you a kiss on the cheek right now, actually, and just a way of saying that she's impressing upon me that she's here for you now. She's stepping forward. I feel there must be a shift in your independence that's going on, your ability to be independent.
Yes.
So she's here to say, I'm right with you. And she's there for the big hug, even though she was getting a little frailer closer to the end, it was still a big hug. And she definitely has a kiss for both cheeks, not just the one, but the both cheeks. And she's saying, stick with it. She's here. And actually, I feel she's saying, talk to me. Talk to me when you need that little bit of extra support.
How nice. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Stacy. And thanks,
Oh.
Grandma, too.
Oh, so nice. Thank you, Stacy. Thanks, Grandma. Thanks, Tim.
Okay.
Thanks,
and
everybody, for listening.
Sorry, not usually that quick, but someone's coming in really strongly here. And this is a gentleman, and he used to be on water skis, and I actually feel he may be brother. So brother in spirit, who water skied, of course, during the summertime. But I remember that I feel that those are special memories of summer together and watching him on water skis.
Thank you very much. Who understands this information? Press your raise hand button, please. All right, Kip has her hand raised. Kip, if you could unmute yourself there. Hi, Kip.
Hi, everybody.
Hi, Kip. How are you doing?
Good, Tim. How are you?
Good, thanks. And I have read with you before, but I don't think your brother's come through.
No, never.
Okay, so I think this is going to be a fun. Your brother was a fun guy, correct?
He was,
Yeah, and
absolutely.
I feel this is going to be a fun reading because as a water skier, he could be a bit of a hot dogger.
Yes,
Okay, because he's trying to do some stunts. They're not always successful. You would recognize that?
yes,
Yeah. And I feel I'll go a little bit further, actually. I feel like he tried to water ski on just the one. He would lift up one leg so he was only on the one ski.
absolutely. Yep,
Okay. And that was met, actually, I have to give him kudos because that was met with success many times. It's just not always.
correct. Yep,
Okay. But what I really want to bring forward there is that he was a trier. He was someone who would push his own boundaries.
yes,
And not just he's letting me know, not just push his boundaries, he would be pushing other people's buttons.
yes,
Yeah, in doing so. Um, and there'd be memories too of, we're talking about hugs before. I feel like a big hug from your brother would be a thing that you would have encountered, a good memory.
oh, I don't know. I don't know
Okay.
about that.
If that's a not so much, then let me backtrack a bit here and I'll go back a little bit more and see where he's going with that. I want to go back to the water skis and see where we go from there. Because I do feel he did like to have he liked to be noticed.
Yes,
Yeah. And
yes.
that attention was where he sometimes would be pushing some buttons. That attention seeking.
Oh, I don't remember that.
Okay, because I feel there that now in the speedboat was also family, correct?
Yes,
And I feel that there's a bit and dad's in that boat. Does that make sense?
no, it doesn't.
Okay. So there's a gentleman I feel in the boat that your brother would be trying to impress.
Yes, that's true.
Okay. And and I feel he actually looked up to him quite a bit.
I think so. Yep,
Yeah. And and the way we would know that is there are some things I feel that he did in order to be noticed by the driver in the boat.
yes, yes,
Um, and I know too when it almost feels too if not enough people are watching me, I would let out a hoot and a holler.
yes,
Okay. And he would be waving at the people on the shore.
yes.
And you saw this as well.
I
Yeah.
did.
Um, and it feels like he fed off of people um getting a little tired of his attention seeking. Do you understand what I mean?
Oh, I don't.
I feel that some people got a little tired of his attention seeking. Does that make sense?
No, not
No,
that.
okay. Um, let's see what he's giving me here. It's almost that he's noticing the people on the shore, and that's driving him to be even a little bit more braver.
Yes,
Yeah,
that's
and
true.
I just caught myself waving here. This is
Yeah,
him. Yeah,
yes,
that's
yeah.
him. Yeah, kind of the look at me moment. Um, there were other times though where he was quite closed in and quite sullen. He wasn't always a look at me type of guy.
Correct.
And I feel that those are the serious moments you know about that he was dealing with inside of him.
Yes, I do.
Okay. And he really wants to bring back the joy, the laughter, the fun that you guys had. He wants to highlight that more so than um, thinking about the other times. Um, I know that you helped him. He's letting me know that you helped him during those quieter times. You were there for him.
I was.
And that and I know I feel that he has delivered this before, the thank you for the words of advice, lot sunk in, a lot he couldn't absorb at the time. Um, you understand that kind of conversation.
I do.
Okay. And he is saying thank you for that. He is impressing upon me that he's very grateful for those times as well. And it feels like he's letting me know he feels as if he could always count on your support. From
Yes, yeah.
great and from the waves, from the shoreline to those quiet moments in which Okay, he's drawing me to those conversations again. You had to let him, you had to say it as it was to him. You had to be flat out with him during those conversations.
Yes.
Um, and he's appreciative of how there wasn't sugarcoating. Some of the words, not words, but some of the speech needed to be intense. Would you understand?
I do. Yep.
Very appreciative of it. And I believe he did say thanks at the time. And now it's
Yes.
even a bigger thank you. It feels as if he understands the context much more now that he's passed. So definitely a thank you to you, and also pleased to focus on and relive those memories of the happier times, the waving from the summer, the warm weather. He's giving all of that water, skiing, ski boating, even though you wouldn't try the skis. Is that correct?
Incorrect.
Okay. It feels though as if you weren't willing to go in
Correct.
as
Yes.
wild as he would. Yeah. I'm
Yes,
not
that's
sure anyone
correct.
would by the way
That's
he's
correct.
just going around in circles.
Yeah.
Anyway, so thank you very much, Kip, and I thank your brother for coming through today. And please remember him for the good times and the deep thank you.
Oh, thank you so much,
Sandra, thank you
Kip.
very much, and it's a pleasure to serve the spirit world. Thank you.
Oh, wonderful demonstration. Wonderful. Ladies and gentlemen, if you'd be so kind, press your raise hand button for both Denise and Tim for volunteering today. Like I said, it's risky trusting what's coming to you, but as we can see, that even if we didn't get a message today, we can feel so much how close the spirit world are with us. And if you watch Denise working and Tim as well, they're talking about they can feel these things. And our medium classes just started this past week, and you're welcome to join. And that's one of the first things that you'll learn is how our soul receives information is through our feelings. We like to think it's from up here, but where they tap into is their feelings. Just wonderful. If you do want to join us on Wednesday, our medium level 1, you can join. You can take it live with us. It starts at the same time as our Sunday gathering does, or you can watch it by replay. And if you join, you'll get the first class immediately. So you're welcome to that. But the spirit world, they're well, they're alive, and we will see them again. So also going on is Mondays, we have Trance and the Altered States with Scott Milligan. Different kind of medium course. We spend most of the time, a lot of time with our eyes closed, blending with the love from the unseen world, our guides, inspirers, loved ones. Tuesday, there's a brand new class called Color and the Aura. So you bring your crayons and colored pencils and paper and do all kinds of great things in that class. Yes, medium level 1 is on Wednesday. If you're more experienced working with mediumship, we invite you to join medium level 2. Also, there's a free thing starting on Wednesday that I'm a part of. It's called a 10-day grief summit. They're all great recordings that have been recorded for this event. It's free. Over 10 days, you'll get, oh gosh, over 20 different videos, 20 different of us speakers, really trying to inspire and comfort and give tools and lift through grief. So it's called From Mourning to Light. And you can find all of this and more at the store page at wedon'tdie.com. Just go store, wedon'tdie.com, store. You can also register for next week's Sunday gathering there. Also on Friday, we have our friend Scott Milligan, who's back doing a sitting for healing and a demonstration of trance mediumship. I know I'm forgetting things. He's got sitting in the power hours on Tuesday. Carrie and Phil are on the road end of the month. They will be traveling down to Southern Florida. They'll be in the Miami area if you'd like to take a class or be with them for a medium demonstration, part of their upcoming film. They'll also be in New Zealand, Australia, Canada, USA, England. Scott will be on the road as well. In April, he'll be in New Orleans and he'll be in Massachusetts, Plymouth, Massachusetts, and also in Brighton, England in July. Again, there's a link right there at the store page at wedon'tdie.com. The new things for me is I'm just 2 episodes away from 600 podcast episodes on the afterlife. On my Shades of the Afterlife, I talk this week about verifiable evidence. during a near-death experience, what people can see while they're out of their bodies that's been verified. And also, you'll learn more about the Grief Summit and some great words. I've interviewed author Emily Thoreau-Threat on grief and happiness. She's someone who has had an unbelievable amount of grief, and what she's learned and is just amazing. So all at wedon'tdie.com. And last, for those of you who have donated to make our Sunday gathering possible, thank you from the bottom of our hearts. We wouldn't be here without you. So thank you. So with that, friends, I'm going to turn it over to Tim for some words for the week.
Thanks, Sandra. And as we're thinking about living with a sense of the miraculous, it's nice to consider that in two ways. I feel that as Mary Alice described, being more observant, being in awe of what's actually around us that we may not be even noticing because we're so focused on other things that may be going on. They need their time as well, but just to take in the awe that's around us every single day. But it's also part of a mindset as well. So those times in which, we may not be in that place. And it's something that we can imagine that we're in our place. I feel like draws like in a way, so that if we can sit and imagine the miracles and even review the miracles and the things we're appreciative of, that draws them near us. We notice synchronistically, again, we notice how it draws us to it. We notice it and more come along. So it's a great, fantastic topic as we look at the miraculous this week in our own lives. And so with that too, I would ask that if you're comfortable to close your eyes, we'll end with a closing prayer. And as you pray to whomever is comfortable to you, the universe, to your God, I say thank you to the Divine Spirit for allowing us to gather today in order for us to be able to carve out those minutes that we can join together, because there's always inspiration when that happens. There's always a wonderful time where we can share, we can think new thoughts, we can be uplifted. And through those, that's where the miracles may begin. And we're appreciative of the people that were here collectively and what each individual brings to the table in a sense, because it's their own soul's journey, each of which is very important. And we give thanks that we progress through that as time goes on, and we look for the upliftment as we think about those miracles this week. Amen. And it looks like we lost Sandra. It's kind of like I'm the last one talking, so you're it. And unfortunately, we don't have the music. But if we don't see Sandra in a couple of minutes, I'm sure she would say thank you to everyone that was here, and for Mary Alice, and for the theme and her wonderful inspirational talking, and for Denise for those contacts. And it's always a pleasure to work with both of these ladies. I've had the privilege of doing so before, and just enjoying that that's happening again. So we don't get to have the closing song, unfortunately, and otherwise have a wonderful week, and we'll see you next week. Not me personally, but we'll all be able to join together again next week, and take care and have a wonderful time. Bye-bye, everybody.